In this video, we're going to answer the question, how do you get rich? How do you get rich? This is a question people have been asking themselves for thousands of years. Why do some people get rich and others do not? To be honest, I don't pretend to know the ultimate answer to this question. Nobody does. We've been trying to figure it out for thousands of years. But I do think it's important. It's an important question if you're a business person or you're an accountant to really sit and ponder this question. We as business people, our role in society is to be those people who generate value. So if you sit and think about this question, you're able to come up with some really powerful insights, even if you can't come up with the ultimate answer. Now, I do want to come up with a clarification here. When I talk about getting rich, I'm not talking about happiness, and I'm not talking about fulfillment. I am talking about money. So if you're watching my channel, on this channel, we talk about money. And so if you want to know about happiness or fulfillment, you got to go to somebody else's channel. Here we're solely focusing on the question, how do you make lots and lots of money? So like I said before, people have been asking themselves this question for thousands of years. And actually there's been a lot of people who have written on this subject. And so we do have a lot of instruction manuals on ways to get rich. And so there's a lot of insights that are out there if you sit and you do the research. So if you read the academic journals and you read the business books and you go to the business classes, what you'll do is you'll come away with these recurring themes that come up again and again. And so I'm going to talk about 4 of these themes that I've noticed. And these are 4 ways to become successful. The first way to become successful is talent. And so when we talk about talent, we're talking about your internal personality, your strengths and weaknesses. And not only that, we're also talking about your external situation. What advantages or disadvantages do you have just for being born in the city you were born in? So the combination of those 2 is your talent. And so it's not enough just to have these talents. You have to be aware of these talents. And so there's all of these self-assessments and tests that are out there that you can take that will help you gain self-awareness on what your strengths and weaknesses are. And why this is so important is if you know what your strengths and weaknesses are, that will help you make better life choices. So let me give you an example of this. Let's say you are a child prodigy at the piano. You have this innate talent. Well, if you know you have these musical talents, you can take advantage of that and make money. The second way to success is hard work. And this is something a lot of people talk about, hard work. And if you listen to any motivational speaker, they'll talk about this and they'll talk about putting in the effort and going the extra mile and giving 110%. And what they're talking about is that it takes a lot of work to make money. And so you've got to put in the effort. So if we go back to the example from before, let's say you're a musical prodigy. Well, if you don't put in the work to practice, you're never going to become successful and your talents are going to go to waste. And so hard work is an important step on your road to success. The third way to success is attitude. And so this is talking about having the right mindset when you're coming into a situation. So if you're coming into a situation and you're one of these people who's a negative person, who's always thinking, oh, this is never going to work out. Well, if that's your attitude, it's not going to work out for you. you're never going to accomplish what you're accomplishing, and you're not going to get rich. And so it's important to have a positive attitude and to have the right mindset. And there's a whole series of books out there on how your thoughts can translate into success. So those 3 ways are probably the most common ways people talk about of how to get rich. So we can take each of these items and use it to build an equation. We can say that talent plus hard work plus attitude equals money. And wouldn't it be great if we had this simple equation that people could just follow as a way to get rich? But there's a problem here. The problem is this equation doesn't work all the time. Because we all know people in our lives who are talented, who work hard, who have a great attitude, and they have no money. And the opposite is also true. We know that there's people out there who have a ton of money, but have no talent, have never worked a day in their life, and have a horrible attitude. So how do we reconcile these 2 ideas? That this equation doesn't work all the time, but there's people who have put roadmaps together to show that the elements of this equation do work. So I'd like to propose that there's another element to this equation, and this is not talked about as much as the first 3, but it is out there. When you read the biographies of successful people can point to specific moments in their lives when they took advantage of an opportunity. So there's 2 parts to this. They saw an opportunity that was out there, and then they took action to take advantage of that opportunity. And you don't need that many opportunities to make a lot of money. So here's the full equation. We have talent plus hard work plus attitude plus opportunity equals money. What makes opportunity a little bit more complex here is that sometimes it works against the other variables in this equation, specifically hard work. So let's think about what's happening here. If opportunity is really important, it's going to require you to do some things that sometimes work against hard work. So if it's really important to spot opportunities out there, what should you be doing? Well, what you should be doing is spending time every day doing nothing. But it's a very specific type of nothing. You're sitting there and you're just watching. You're watching for opportunities and you're listening. Well, if you're busy working all the time, if you're working 60 hours a week, you're not going to have time to just sit and wait. And people don't like sitting and waiting. That takes a lot of patience. It's actually easier to go out there and do all this hard work. But if you want to spot opportunities, you need to sit and wait and watch and listen in order to spot the opportunities that are out there. And I'll give you a really simple example of this. So yesterday, I was driving down the freeway and I was just running an errand. And I'm in my car and I was actually thinking about what I was going to talk about in this video. And I'm lost in thought and I miss the exit on the freeway. And so I have to go to the next exit, get off, turn around, come back, and continue running my errand. Well, I was so focused on what I was doing that I completely missed the exit that I needed to get off on. Well, that's what happens. People are so busy with their lives that they completely don't see all of the opportunities that are around them. So that's the first thing, is you need to spot the opportunity. But not only that, you need to take advantage of the opportunity. And in order to take advantage of opportunities, you need to leave space in your life to take advantage of those opportunities. Well, this is really hard to do. People's lives are so chock full of things to do that very few people have space. So even if you were able to identify an opportunity out there, how many people would be able to really take advantage of those opportunities? So you need to stop, watch, and listen to be able to identify the opportunity, and then have the space in your life to take advantage of those opportunities. So ultimately, it becomes a balancing act between the different variables in this equation. So you need all of them. You need talent, you need hard work, you need attitude, and you need opportunity. But in reality, no one's ever going to truly be able to answer this question of how do you get rich? Because life is really too complex to be able to capture it in a really simplified equation like this. That's why there's instances where the equation doesn't work all the time. But you shouldn't discount the insights you can get from this, and many people have written about all of these different topics. The other thing you should realize is this is not a get-rich-quick scheme, right? These things take hard work over long periods of time. This is a get-rich scheme over decades. And the reason why this works on a really big picture level is that these things are hard to do. People don't want to work hard. They don't want to take the time to gain the self-awareness of their strengths and weaknesses. They don't want to have a positive attitude, and they don't want to wait and have patience for opportunities. So people don't do these things, and so if you do them, it sets you apart from the crowd. Not only that, all of these things create value for society. So if you work really hard creating value for society, society will reward you for that. And so if you keep doing these things over decades, society will reward you with a lot of money. So those are just some of my thoughts. I hope this gave you some valuable insights. If it did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, click on the subscribe button. I release a new video every week on accounting and corporate finance, so come back and check out next week's video.